The message played for the third time in the great round chamber. The voices were weak and filled with fear. This is Talon Colony on Proxima Centauri 4. We are under attack. The Voidborn have destroyed our outer settlements. They have killed hundreds already. Please send help. We cannot hold out much longer. The members of the Galactic Council sat in silence. 20 different alien species, all dressed in their formal robes, looked at each other with worry in their eyes. None wanted to speak first. Ambassador Lorath finally stood up. Her skin was almost see-through, showing the blue blood flowing through her veins. She was tall and thin like most of her kind. "The situation is clear," she said. "The Talons need our help. They are peaceful people with great medical knowledge but few weapons. The Voidborn will destroy them without our help." Council member Zivra huffed. He was short and round with thick green scales covering his body. "And what do you suggest, Lorath? Send our ships into Voidborn territory? Start a war that could spread across 3 sectors? We must follow protocol," said another member. "We will form a committee, study the problem, send aid ships in 3 months when it is safe." The large metal doors at the back of the chamber opened. A human man walked in. He wore a dark blue uniform with gold stripes on the shoulders. His face had a long scar running from his right eye to his jaw. His black hair was cut short, and his dark eyes scanned the room quickly. This was Captain Jiho Kim of the Earth Defense Force. At 45 years old, he had fought in 3 space battles, and had the scars to prove it. The Council had called him to this meeting as Earth's military representative. "Captain Kim," Ambassador Lorath said, "thank you for coming. As you have heard, the Talon colony is under attack by the Voidborn. The Council is discussing how to respond." Jiho nodded once. His face showed no emotion. "And what has the Council decided?" "We will send humanitarian vessels in 3 standard months," Lorath said, "once we have prepared a proper diplomatic mission." 3 months? Jiho asked. His voice was calm, but his eyes narrowed slightly. "The Talons will be gone by then." Council member Zivra made a harsh laughing sound. "And what would you suggest?" "Human. Your species has barely been in space for a century. You are from a death world, classified as extremely dangerous. Your help might cause more harm than good." The term death world made some council members shift in their seats uncomfortably. Earth was famous for its harsh conditions: high gravity, extreme temperatures, thousands of diseases, and countless predators had shaped humans into something the galaxy found unsettling. Humans were stronger, faster, and more aggressive than most species. They healed quickly from injuries that would kill others, and they had a reputation for being unpredictable. Jiho stood straight, hands behind his back in a military stance. "We will send the Cholima." The chamber erupted with voices, some angry, some afraid. "Impossible. A warship? To a peaceful colony? The humans are trying to start a war." The Cholima was Earth's newest battleship. Named after a winged horse, from Korean legend, it was the most heavily armed vessel humans had ever built. Its very existence made the Council nervous. Ambassador Lorath raised her hands for quiet. "Captain Kim," she said when the noise died down, "the Talons asked for aid, not destruction." Jiho's lips formed a small smile that didn't reach his eyes. "When Deathworlders hear an SOS, Ambassador, we don't just send aid. We send the means to ensure no one needs to send an SOS from that location ever again." "This is exactly why the Council restricts human military activity," said Zivra. "You solve every problem with force. We solve problems with the right tool, for the job," Jiho replied. "The Voidborn understand only one language: strength. They will not stop if you ask nicely." An older council member with 4 arms spoke up. "Perhaps the human has a point. The Voidborn have attacked 3 worlds in the past year. All our diplomatic efforts have failed." Lorath looked troubled. "Captain, if we allow this, what exactly would you do?" "We would secure the Talon colony, evacuate civilians if needed, and remove the Voidborn threat," Jiho said. "Remove? You mean kill?" said Zivra. "I mean give them one chance to leave peacefully," Jiho said. "What happens after that is their choice." The council members talked among themselves. Jiho waited patiently. He knew how they saw humans, as dangerous, unpredictable creatures from a planet that should never have produced intelligent life. Earth's gravity was too high, its oxygen levels too rich, its wildlife too deadly. Humans had evolved with instincts for fighting and survival that made other species uncomfortable. But Jiho also knew something the Council did not. Humans protected their own, and after joining the galactic community, many humans had started to see all peaceful species as worth protecting. After 10 minutes of debate, Lorath addressed him again. The Council will permit the Kolima to investigate the situation at Proxima. Centauri IV, you may render aid to the Talons and open communication with the Voidborn, but you are not authorized to engage in combat unless directly attacked. Jiho nodded. Understood, Ambassador. We will depart immediately. Captain, Lorath said as he turned to leave, please remember that you represent not just Earth, but the entire Galactic Council in this matter. With respect, Ambassador, Jiho replied. I represent the people who sent a distress call and expected someone to answer. Everything else is secondary. After leaving the council chamber, Jiho walked quickly to the transport bay. He tapped his wrist communicator. Commander Park, prepare the Cholima for immediate departure. Set course for Proxima Centauri 4. Yes, Captain, came the reply. May I ask what the council decided? They're letting us go with restrictions, Jiho said. The usual. Look but don't touch, talk but don't fight. And will we be following those restrictions, sir? Commander Park asked. Jiho entered the transport pod that would take him to the orbital docking bay where the Cholima waited. We'll follow them right up until the moment they get in the way of saving lives. The transport pod's doors closed, and Jiho thought about the message they had heard. The fear in the Talon voices. The council talking about committees and protocols, while people died. Humans had a saying, when seconds count, help is only minutes away. Except in space, help was days or weeks away, or in the council's case, months. Unless you were human. Unless you came from a world that had taught you that. Hesitation meant death. The Voidborn had never faced humans before. They had attacked peaceful species across 3 sectors without serious opposition. But they were about to learn what happened when you triggered the protective instincts of Deathworld predators who had decided to use their strength to shield others. As the transport pod accelerated toward the Cholima, Jiho made a silent promise to the distant Talons. Hold on, the Deathworlders are coming. Commander Una Park stood on the bridge of the Cholima, looking at the star map. She was 38 years old with short black hair and alert eyes that missed nothing. 3 medals were pinned to her uniform, each one earned during the Mars Rebellion 5 years ago. The bridge was busy with activity. 20 crew members worked at different stations, checking systems and preparing for the jump to Proxima Centauri. Captain on the bridge, called Lieutenant Do-Hyun Lee. He was young, only 26, but already one of the best tactical officers in the Earth Defense Force. Captain Jiho Kim stepped onto the bridge, now dressed in his full uniform with the Earth Defense Force symbol on his chest. The crew straightened at their stations. Status report, Commander, Jiho said. All systems operational, Captain, Una replied. The crew is at battle stations. We're ready for the jump sequence. Jiho nodded and took his seat in the captain's chair. The Council thinks we're reckless, Commander. They don't understand what it means to come from Earth. With respect, sir, Una said. They've never had to fight for every breath like our ancestors did. This was true. The Cholima carried a crew of 200 humans, all born and raised on Earth. To the galaxy, Earth was Deathworld 1, a planet that should never have produced intelligent life. Its gravity was too strong, its weather too extreme, its animals too dangerous. Humans had evolved to survive conditions that would kill most other species in the galaxy. Chief Engineer Tai Wu Kang approached with a tablet in his hands. He was 40 years old with strong arms from years of working with heavy machinery. Captain, I've changed our shield settings to counter the Voidborn energy weapons, Tai Wu said. The data from the Talon beacon helped me figure out what we're facing. I can't promise it will work perfectly, but the tests look good. Good work, Chief, Jiho said. What about our weapons? We've loaded the special package, Taewoo replied, lowering his voice. Project Sunstorm is ready if we need it. Jiho's face darkened. Let's hope we don't need to use that. The Talons deserve to have a home when this is over. Project Sunstorm was a last resort weapon. Even most of the crew didn't know exactly what it did, but everyone understood it was meant for situations where there were no good options left. Medical Officer Jisoo Choi joined them. She was slim but strong, with calm hands that had saved many lives. Captain, I've studied the Talon medical files, she said. Their bodies are much weaker than ours, but they can handle radiation better. If we find survivors, we can treat them in our shielded medical bay. Thank you, Doctor, Jiho said. Remember, our first job is to stop the Voidborn, but saving Talon lives is almost as important. Jiho turned back to the main screen, which showed the vast starfield ahead of them. He pressed a button on his chair. This is Captain Kim to all crew. We are about to jump to Proxima Centauri 4. As you know, the Talon colony there is under attack by the Voidborn. The Council has given us permission to investigate and provide aid. He paused, choosing his next words carefully. The galaxy thinks, humans are dangerous because we come from a world that tried to kill us every day. They're right. We are dangerous. But today we will be dangerous for the right reasons. Today we protect those who cannot protect themselves. Yuna looked at the captain with respect. She had served with him for 7 years and knew he meant every word. Jump sequence starting in 2 minutes, announced the navigation officer. Lieutenant Do-hyun, Jiho said. What do we know about Voidborn tactics? Do-hyun touched his screen and brought up several images. The Voidborn use overwhelming force, sir. They don't believe in fair fights. They attack civilian targets first to create fear. Their ships are heavily armed but not very fast. And their weaknesses? They're overconfident, Do-hyun said. They've never lost a battle, so they don't expect resistance. And they've never fought humans before. Jiho nodded. That's their biggest mistake. The bridge fell silent as the jump. Countdown began. FTL travel, faster than light, was always dangerous. The Cholima would tear a hole in space itself to travel the 4 light-years to Proxima Centauri in just hours instead of years. Jump in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The stars on the view screen stretched into lines of light. The ship shuddered as the FTL drive engaged. For a brief moment, everyone felt like they were being pulled in all directions at once. Then the feeling passed, and the Cholima was traveling through the strange space between stars. While the ship traveled, Jiho called his senior officers to the briefing room. A hologram of Proxima Centauri 4 floated above the table. This is what we know, Jiho said. The Talon colony has about 10,000 people. They're spread across 4 main settlements, with the largest here. He pointed to a spot on the northern part of the planet. The Voidborn attacked 3 days ago. They destroyed the orbital satellites first, then landed ground forces here, here, and here. He pointed to 3 areas around the main city. Why do the Voidborn want this planet? Asked Yunha. Medical Officer Jisoo spoke up. The Talons are known for their medical technology. They can cure diseases that even we can't. The Voidborn probably want that knowledge. And they'll torture it out of them if necessary, Jiho said grimly. The Voidborn don't ask nicely. Chief Taewoo studied the map. What's our plan, Captain? The Cholima is powerful, but we're just one ship. Sometimes one is enough, if it's the right one, Jiho replied. We'll drop out of FTL at the edge of the system. Long-range scans first. We need to know how many ships we're facing. And then? Asked Do-hyun. And then we give them a chance to leave peacefully. Yuna raised an eyebrow. Do you think they'll take it? No, Jiho said honestly. But we offer anyway. It's what separates us from them. And if they refuse? Asked Jisoo. Then we show them why Deathworlders are feared across the galaxy. The Wine-Deer meeting ended and the officers returned to their posts. As they walked back to the bridge, Yuna stayed beside Jiho. Captain, the crew is ready, but they're also nervous. Most have never seen real combat. Neither have the Voidborn, Commander. Not against humans. Do you think we can win? she asked quietly. Jiho looked at her. The Voidborn have superior numbers. They have more ships, more weapons, more soldiers. By any normal calculation, we're outmatched. But calculations don't account for what humans bring to a fight. We evolved on a world where giving up meant death, where working together meant survival. The Voidborn evolved as conquerors, taking what they want because no one could stop them. He smiled slightly. They've never met a species that evolved specifically to overcome impossible odds. That's what Earth gave us, Yuna. The ability to look at a no-win situation and refuse to accept it. The ship's speakers came alive. Captain, to the bridge. We're approaching the Proxima Centauri system. Jiho and Yunha walked quickly to the bridge. The view screen showed normal space again as the Cholima dropped out of FTL travel. Sensor sweep, ordered Jiho. Full spectrum. Do-hyun worked at his station. Scanning. I have 3 large ships in orbit around the 4th planet. Energy signatures. Match Voidborn dreadnoughts. Several smaller ships on the surface. Talon life signs. Detecting approximately 8,000 in the main city. Their shields are still holding, but they're weakening. Jiho nodded, his face set with determination. We made it in time. Captain, called the communications officer, Ensign Mina Yoon. We're being scanned. The Voidborn know we're here. Good, said Jiho. Raise shields. Power up weapon systems, but don't target yet. Let's see if they want to talk first. The crew of the Cholima prepared for battle. They had traveled 4 light years to answer a call for help. They were outnumbered, and far from home. But they were humans from Earth. Deathworlders born on a planet that had taught them one important lesson. Never back down when protecting others. The Voidborn were about to learn what that meant. The Cholima floated at the edge of the Proxima Centauri system. Through the main view screen, the crew could see the destruction. Broken pieces of Talon ships drifted in space, silent reminders of the battle that had happened days ago. 3. Voidborn dreadnoughts in orbit around Proxima 4, reported Lieutenant Do-hyun. His fingers moved quickly over his control panel. I count at least 20 smaller ships on the planet's surface. The Talons are all gathered in their main city in the north. Their shields are still working, but they're getting weaker. Captain Jiho studied the screen. The Voidborn ships were huge, almost 3 times the size of the Cholima. They formed a triangle above the planet, blocking any ships from landing or leaving. They've set up a blockade, Commander Yuna said. Standard invasion pattern. Block all escape routes, then attack from the ground. We're being scanned, Do-hyun announced. They've spotted us. Ensign Mina Yoon, the communications officer, sat up straight at her station. Captain, we're getting a message from the largest Voidborn ship. Put it on screen, Jiho ordered. The view screen changed to show a Voidborn commander. It was tall and thin with gray skin that looked like stone. Its eyes were completely black like pools of oil. When it spoke, its mouth barely moved, showing rows of small, sharp teeth. Unknown vessel, the Voidborn said, its voice harsh even through the translator. This system now belongs to the Voidborn Ascendancy. Leave immediately or be destroyed. Jiho stood up from his captain's chair. This is Captain Jiho Kim of the Earth Defense Force vessel Cholima. We received a distress call from the Talon colony on Proxima 4. We are here to help them. The Voidborn commander tilted its head slightly. Earth, the Death World. We have heard of your kind, Captain. However, your help is not wanted here. The Talons will serve us now. That's not going to happen, Jiho said calmly. I'll give you one chance to take your forces and leave the system peacefully. A strange sound came from the Voidborn that the translator identified as laughter. 1 ship against 3 dreadnoughts? Your Deathworld pride is amusing, Captain. Jiho glanced at Yuna, who nodded slightly. You misunderstand, Commander. This isn't a negotiation. It's a courtesy. When humans give warnings, it's not because we're afraid to fight. It's because we prefer to avoid unnecessary killing. The Voidborn leaned closer to the screen. Primitive thinking. The strong do not warn the weak. Exactly, Jiho replied. End transmission. The screen went dark. Jiho turned to Do-hyun. Lieutenant, start Operation Thunderclap. Yes, Captain, Do-hyun said, typing a series of commands into his console. From the sides of the Cholima, 12 small objects launched silently into space. They moved slowly, barely visible against the backdrop of stars. What are those? Asked a young crew member who had never seen combat before. Chief Engineer Taewoo smiled grimly. We call them ghosts, stealth mines with phase shift technology, a little gift from Earth's death world science. Tactical assessment? Jiho asked. Do-hyun, the Voidborn ships are moving to surround us, Do-hyun reported. Classic trap formation, they want to catch us in a triangular crossfire. Jiho nodded. Exactly as expected. Hold position. Defensive stance only. Shields at maximum. Commander Yunha moved closer to the captain. They're taking the bait, sir. The first Voidborn dreadnought fired. A bright beam of energy cut through space toward the Cholima. When it hit the shields, the entire ship shook slightly. The shields glowed blue but remained intact. Shield strength at 82%, Do-hyun called out. Better than we thought. Return fire, Jiho ordered. Limited response only. We need to keep their attention. The Cholima fired its smaller weapons. The shots hit the Voidborn ship but did little damage to its thick armor. They're laughing at us, Mina said, listening to the Voidborn communications. They think our weapons are too weak. Good, Jiho said. Let them think that. The Voidborn ships continued to move closer, firing more energy beams at the Cholima. The human ship took the hits, its shields holding steady while firing back just enough to seem like it was trying its best. All 3 ships are now in position, Do-hyun reported. They've entered the target zone. Jiho nodded to Do-hyun. Activate the ghosts. Do-hyun pressed a button on his console. Across the battlefield, the 12 stealth mines activated at the same time. But instead of exploding with fire and noise, they created something much more dangerous. Localized gravity distortion fields. The effect was immediate and devastating. The Voidborn ships caught in suddenly warped space, found their shields failing and their hulls beginning to crack as gravity pulled at them from multiple directions at once. Their shields are down, Do-hyun announced. Hull breaches detected on all 3 ships. Target their engines and weapons, Jiho ordered. Precision strikes only. Now the Cholima revealed its true power. From its main guns, it fired special tungsten rods at incredible speeds. These simple projectiles, moving at a significant fraction of light speed, punched through the Voidborn ship's armor like it was paper. The Cholima didn't aim to destroy the ships completely, only to disable them. 2 dreadnoughts neutralized, Do-hyun reported after a few minutes of targeted fire. The third is trying to turn away. The Voidborn ground forces are returning to their ships, Yunha warned, watching the sensor readings. They're leaving the planet's surface. Jiho's eyes narrowed. They're abandoning the invasion to save their troops. He turned to Mina. Open a channel to the Talon city. After a moment of static, a tired face appeared on screen. It belonged to a Talon, a slender being with pale blue skin and large, gentle eyes that seemed to glow from within. This is Elder Navari of the Talon colony, the alien said in a weak voice. Who? What are you? Elder Navari, I'm Captain Jiho Kim of the Earth Defense Force. We received your distress call. We've disabled the Voidborn ships in orbit. Are their ground forces retreating from your city? The Talon's eyes widened. Yes, Captain, they're running back to their landing ships, but you're human, from Earth? Yes, Elder. The Deathworlders heard your call. Jiho replied with a small smile. The Talon seemed shocked. We requested help from the Council. We never expected. He paused at a loss for words. Humans respond differently to calls for help. Elder Navari, Jiho explained. Can you tell us where your people need medical help? Our doctor is ready to send teams down. Yes, of course, Elder Navari said, still looking stunned. I'll send the locations, but your ship. How did you defeat 3 Voidborn dreadnoughts? They've never lost a battle before. The Voidborn have never fought humans before, Jiho said. Simply, we don't like bullies. As the Talon sent the medical information, Dohyun reported a new development. Captain, the third Voidborn dreadnought is trying to power up its main weapon. Target their power core, Jiho ordered. One shot only. The Chalama fired a single precise round that pierced the Voidborn ship's damaged hull and hit its main reactor. The lights on the enemy ship flickered and went dark. All three dreadnoughts disabled, Dohyun confirmed. The smaller ships are standing down. Open a channel to all Voidborn vessels, Jiho said. When the connection was established, he spoke clearly and firmly. This is Captain Kim. Your ships are disabled. Your invasion has failed. You have two choices: surrender now and face justice from the Galactic Council, or force us to take more permanent action. You have 5 minutes to decide. He closed the channel and turned to his crew. Prepare boarding parties, medical teams, to the shuttle bay. We need to get help to the Talons immediately. Captain, Mina called out, I'm receiving surrender signals from all Voidborn ships. A cheer went up from the crew. They had faced 3 massive warships and won without losing a single life. Jiho nodded with satisfaction but kept his expression serious. The battle's over, but our work isn't. Commander Yunha, secure those ships, make sure they stay disabled. Dr. Jisoo, take your medical teams to the surface. Chief Taiwu, I want damage assessment teams on those Voidborn ships as soon as they're secure. As the crew rushed to follow his orders, Yunha stepped beside Jiho. That was a risk, Captain. If the ghosts hadn't worked, Earth is a planet of risks, Commander, Jiho replied. Every day on our world is a risk. That's why we understand something the Voidborn never will. What's that, sir? Jiho looked at the screen showing the Talon city, now safe from attack. That some risks are worth taking when other lives are at stake. The Chalama's shuttles launched toward the planet below, carrying medical teams and supplies. The Voidborn had expected an easy victory over a peaceful species. Instead, they had met the Deathworlders, humans who had evolved on a planet that taught them both how to fight and when fighting was necessary. And now they knew why the galaxy both feared and respected the people of Earth. The medical shuttle touched down on the outskirts of the Talon city. Dr. Jisoo Choi led her team of 10 medical officers out onto the alien soil. They carried large bags of supplies and portable medical equipment. The Talon city was beautiful, even after the attack. Tall, curved buildings made of a blue-white material rose into the sky. But signs of the battle were everywhere. Broken structures, small fires, and debris in the streets. A group of Talons waited for them. The aliens were tall and thin with light blue skin and large, expressive eyes. They moved with a grace that seemed almost like floating. Elder Navari stepped forward. Up close, Jisoo could see how tired he looked. His glowing eyes were dimmer than in the images she had studied. Thank you for coming, Navari said, his voice soft and musical. We had almost lost hope. We came as soon as we received your message, Jisoo replied. I'm Dr. Jisoo Choi of the Earth Defense Force. Where are your most serious casualties? This way, Navari led them into the city. We have converted our community center into a hospital. Our medical technology is advanced, but we lack power to run much of it, and many of our doctors were killed in the first attack. As they walked, Talons emerged from buildings to watch them pass. Many looked afraid at first, but then whispered among themselves with growing excitement. They are saying Deathworlders, Navari explained. Most have only heard stories about humans. Some are afraid, but most are grateful. Word of how you defeated the Voidborn ships has spread quickly. Jisoo nodded. Humans have a bad reputation in some parts of the galaxy. But we're here to help, not harm. They reached a large round building in the center of the city. Inside, hundreds of injured Talons lay on beds and mats. The air smelled of unfamiliar medicines and the soft blue blood of the aliens. Jisoo quickly organized her team. Start with the most critical cases. Remember your training on Talon physiology. Their hearts are in the center of their chests, not the left side. Their blood carries oxygen but breaks down differently than ours. The human medical team went to work. At first, the Talon doctors watched cautiously, but soon they were working alongside the humans, sharing knowledge and helping together. Meanwhile, aboard the Chalama, Captain Jiho Kim prepared to meet with the Voidborn leadership. A small shuttle had brought the Voidborn commander and 2 officers to the human ship under heavy guard. Jiho waited in the meeting room with Commander Yunha and Lieutenant Do Hyun. The door slid open, and 3 Voidborn entered, flanked by 4 human security officers. Up close, the Voidborn were even more intimidating. They stood over 7 feet tall with stone-like gray skin and those black, empty eyes. Their mouths were small but filled with needle-sharp teeth. They wore black armor that seemed to absorb light. "Sit," Jiho said, pointing to the chairs on the other side of the table. The Voidborn commander remained standing. The Voidborn ascendancy does not negotiate with lesser species. "You're not here to negotiate," Jiho replied calmly. "You're here to accept terms. Your ships are disabled, your forces are stranded. This isn't a negotiation, it's a notification of what happens next." The commander's face couldn't show much expression, but anger was clear in its voice. "You used trickery to defeat our ships, no honorable victory." Jiho raised an eyebrow. "Honorable? You attacked a peaceful colony that couldn't defend itself. Where is the honor in that?" The Voidborn had no answer. "Here are the terms," Jiho continued. "Your crews will remain aboard your ships under guard. The Galactic Council is sending vessels to escort you back to Voidborn space. Your weapons will be disabled permanently. You will never return to this system." "And if we refuse?" Jiho's voice hardened. "Then we activate Project Sunstorm. I don't think you want that." The Voidborn commander tilted its head. "What is this project?" "Something we hoped never to use," Jiho said. "Let's just say it would ensure that none of your ships or crews ever return home." The Voidborn officers whispered to each other in their own language. Finally, the commander spoke. "We will accept your terms. But know this, human. The Voidborn ascendancy does not forget. Someday we will meet again." "For your sake," Jiho replied. "I hope not." After the Voidborn were escorted back to their shuttle, Yuna turned to Jiho. "Would you really have used Project Sunstorm, Captain?" Jiho looked at her. "No, it was a bluff. Project Sunstorm doesn't exist." Do Hyun looked shocked. "But the way you said it, they completely believed you." "Because I said it with conviction," Jiho explained. "Sometimes the most powerful weapon is the one your enemy thinks you have." Back on the planet's surface, the human medical team worked tirelessly alongside the Talon doctors. Chief Engineer Tae-Woo Kang and his engineers had arrived as well, helping to restore power to the city's systems. Tae-Woo connected the last power coupling and stepped back. "Try it now," he called to a Talon engineer. The Talon pressed a sequence on a control panel. Lights flickered, then came on steadily throughout the medical center. Medical machines hummed to life. A cheer went up from both humans and Talons. "Our healing chambers require significant power," explained the Talon engineer. "Now we can treat the most seriously injured." Tae-Woo nodded with satisfaction. "The power will hold. We've repaired the main systems and set up emergency backups." In the medical center, Jisoo watched as the Talons activated their healing technology. It was far beyond human medicine in some ways. Injured Talons were placed in glowing chambers that accelerated their natural healing abilities. "Amazing," Jisoo said to Elder Navari, who had come to see the progress. "Your medical technology could help so many across the galaxy." "That is why the Voidborn attacked us," Navari explained sadly. "They wanted to take our knowledge and keep it for themselves alone. They would have forced our doctors to serve only the Voidborn elite." "That won't happen now," Jisoo assured him. "Thanks to humans," Navari said. "The council told us your kind was dangerous, that you came from a world of death and violence." Jisoo smiled gently. They weren't wrong. Earth is harsh compared to most worlds. But hardship teaches valuable lessons. Sometimes you need dangerous people on your side. "I begin to understand," Navari said. "Your people evolved facing death every day, yet you came across stars to save strangers." "That's what humans do," Jisoo replied. We protect those who need protection. As the day ended, Jisoo received a call from Captain Jiho. Doctor, how are things progressing? Very well, Captain, she reported. We've treated over 300 patients. The Talon healing chambers are working again, thanks to Taewoo's team. The most critical cases are stabilizing. Good work, Jiho said. The Council vessels will arrive tomorrow to secure the Void-born ships. We'll remain in orbit until they arrive. That night, as most of the human team rested in temporary quarters, provided by the Talons, Jisoo walked through the medical center, checking on patients. She found Elder Navari sitting beside a young Talon whose arm was wrapped in a healing bandage. This is my grandson, Navari explained. He was injured when our research center was attacked. He's healing well, Jisoo assured him after checking the bandage. He wants to be a doctor, Navari said proudly. Now he says he wants to study human medicine too. The young Talon looked at Jisoo with curious eyes. Is it true that humans can keep fighting even when injured badly? Jisoo smiled. Yes, that's true. Our bodies evolved to handle pain and keep functioning. It helps us survive. That's why you're not afraid of the Void-born, the young Talon said with sudden understanding. You've faced worse things on your own world. Jisoo thought about Earth's history, about the predators, diseases, natural disasters, and wars that had shaped her species. In some ways, yes. But the true strength of humans isn't just that we can endure pain or fight well. What is it then? Asked Navari. It's that we can face all that hardship and still choose to be kind, Jisoo replied. We learned that survival isn't just about being strong, it's about helping each other, about answering the call when someone needs help. Outside the medical center, the lights of the Choloma could be seen in the night sky, a constant presence watching over the recovering city. The Deathworlders had come not to conquer but to protect, and the galaxy would never see humans quite the same way again. 3 days after the battle, the Choloma orbited peacefully above Proxima Centauri IV. The 3 Void-born dreadnoughts floated nearby, now stripped of weapons and running on minimal power. Their once threatening presence had been reduced to empty shells. In the distance, 5 ships approached. They were the Galactic Council vessels, finally arriving to help with the situation. Captain Jiho Kim watched them from the bridge of the Choloma with a small smile. Right on time, he said. Only 3 days late. Commander Yuna stood beside him. The Council is never in a hurry, Captain. Not like humans. Inform the Council ships that the Void-born vessels are secure and ready for transport, Jiho ordered. While the Council ships moved to take control of the Void-born dreadnoughts, Jiho traveled down to the planet's surface. A meeting had been arranged in the main government building of the Talon city. The building was tall and elegant, with curved walls that seemed to flow like water frozen in time. Inside, a large round table stood in the center of a bright room. Windows let in the red-tinged light of Proxima Centauri. Elder Navari welcomed Jiho at the door. The Talon leader looked much better now. His eyes glowed brighter and his movements were more fluid. Captain Kim, Navari said warmly. Thank you for coming. Jiho nodded respectfully. How is your city recovering, Elder? Very well, thanks. To your people, Navari replied. Dr. Jisoo's team has treated all of our wounded. Chief Taewoo's engineers have restored power to the entire city. Even our defense systems are working again. They walked to the table where several others were already seated. Dr. Jisoo and Chief Taewoo represented the human team. Council Ambassador Lorath represented the Galactic Council. She looked uncomfortable. Her translucent skin flushed slightly blue with emotion. Captain Kim, Lorath said stiffly as Jiho took his seat. The Council extends its appreciation for Earth's intervention, though your methods were typically aggressive. Jiho raised an eyebrow. Aggressive? We disabled 3 warships without destroying them. We minimized casualties on all sides. Had we waited for the Council's response, we would be having this conversation at a memorial service instead. Lorath had no good answer to that. She shifted in her seat and adjusted her formal robes. Elder Navari spoke gently, placing his slender hand on the table. Ambassador Captain Kim's people saved over 8,000 Talons. Their medical teams worked without rest to treat our injured. Their engineers restored our city when we could not do it ourselves. That is commendable, Lorath admitted reluctantly. Dr. Jisoo entered the room with a data pad in her hand. Excuse me, Captain. I wanted to report that all critical patients are now stable. The Talon healing chambers work amazingly well once they had full power again. Thank you, Doctor, Jiho said with a nod. He turned back to Lorath. Ambassador, I understand the Council's concern about Deathworlders. We evolved in an environment that taught us to fight or die. But those same pressures taught us something else, that survival often depends on protecting each other. The Voidborn commander, Elder Navari said quietly, told us no one would come, that the galaxy had abandoned us. Jiho shook his head. That's not how humans operate, Elder. On Earth, when someone sends a distress call, you don't debate whether to respond. You drop everything and go. Even knowing you might die in the attempt? Lorath asked, genuine curiosity in her voice. Especially then, Commander Yunha replied from her position by the door. It's called courage, Ambassador. Another trait from our death world. Lorath seemed to think about this. Finally, she spoke with a new tone of respect. Perhaps the Council has misjudged humans in some ways. Your methods are unconventional, but effective. The Council will be transporting the Voidborn ships and crews back to their territory, Lorath continued. We have also initiated talks with the Voidborn Ascendancy about their illegal invasions. Your actions here may have prevented future attacks on other worlds. That was our hope, Jiho said. After the meeting ended, Jiho walked with Elder Navari through the Talon city. The streets were coming back to life. Talons moved about, rebuilding damaged structures and reopening small shops. Many stopped to bow respectfully to the human captain. Your people honor you, Jiho observed. They honor all humans now, Navari replied. You have changed how we see your species. Before, we only knew what the Council told us, that humans were dangerous predators from a death planet. That part is true, Jiho said with a small smile. Yes, but incomplete, Navari said wisely. You are predators who choose to protect instead of hunt. You are dangerous, but you direct that danger toward those who threaten the innocent. They stopped at a small park where young Talons were playing. Several human crew members were there too, showing the Talon children simple Earth games. The sound of laughter, both human and Talon, filled the air. This is what truly matters, Navari said, gesturing to the scene. Two species from different worlds finding friendship. That evening, before the Cholima prepared to depart, the Talons held a small ceremony. The entire human crew was invited to the city center, where Elder Navari presented Captain Jiho with a crystal sculpture, a traditional Talon symbol of eternal friendship. Captain, Navari said as hundreds of Talons and humans watched, the Talon people will never forget what Earth has done. When we sent our distress call into the void, we hoped for saviors. Instead, we received... He paused, searching for the right words. Just humans, Elder Navari, Jiho said, accepting the crystal. Deathworlders with a simple code. When someone calls for help, you answer. Not because it's easy or safe, but because it's right. Later, as the human crew prepared to return to their ship, Dr. Jisoo found herself saying goodbye to the Talon, medical staff she had worked with for days. You've taught us so much, said a young Talon doctor. Will humans share more knowledge with us in the future? I'm sure we will, Jisoo replied. The Council is already talking about establishing a permanent human presence here, a small base with medical personnel and engineers. Good, the Talon said. We need Deathworlders as friends. Aboard the Cholima, Chief Engineer Taewoo was running final system checks when Captain Jiho found him. How's our ship, Chief? Jiho asked. Ready to fly, Captain, Taewoo replied. The shields took some damage, but nothing serious. We could fight another battle if needed. Let's hope that won't be necessary, Jiho said. At least not for a while. Commander Yunha joined them on the bridge as the crew took their stations. The Council ships are taking the Voidborn vessels away now, Our job here is done. Jiho nodded and took his seat in the captain's chair. Set course for Earth. It's time to go home. As the Chalama prepared to leave orbit, a message was transmitted from the Talon capital to Earth, the first formal diplomatic communication between the two species. To the Deathworlders of Earth, your dangerous ship brought us the most precious cargo in the galaxy, hope. Because of you, our children will grow up free. The stars themselves will remember your courage. The message was followed by an official invitation for Earth to establish an embassy on Proxima Centauri 4 and to begin cultural and technological exchanges. On the main view screen, Jiho could see the Talon city, now lit up and beautiful in the planet's evening. The damage was being repaired, life was returning to normal, and a new friendship between species had begun. Course laid in, Captain, reported the navigation officer. Take us home, Jiho ordered. As the Chalama moved away from the planet, Jiho thought about what Navari had said. Humans were indeed predators from a death world. They had evolved with strength, speed, and aggressive instincts. The galaxy had reason to fear them, but evolution had given humans something else. The understanding that true strength came from protecting others, from standing between the innocent and those who would harm them, from answering calls for help, no matter the risk. The starship accelerated into FTL speed, leaving a flash of light behind. On Proxima Centauri 4, the Talons watched it go with gratitude and a new understanding of the species called humans. The Deathworlders had come when called, not with empty words of sympathy, but with a dangerous ship and the courage to use it. And the galaxy would never be the same. The end.